Hey everyone, today's story is about a wonderful couple. Fate brought them together to fulfill the husband's vision in his childhood and the wife's aspirations for the future. But before we start this incredible story, just want to say we really appreciate your support to our channel Story Weaver. What follows is full of faith. So let's see together the events of this story. In a small town in Arkansas, Walter Manis and his childhood friend Annie grew up as neighbors. Their families shared a close bond. Annie always admired Walter from afar, considering him an amazing person and dreaming of finding someone just like him when she grew up. As life went on, Walt and Annie remained connected. When Annie went off to college, Walt was there to help her settle in. During this time, their friendship grew stronger and they spent more and more time together. One day, as they shared their dreams with each other, Walt had a sudden recollection of a vivid vision he had as a young boy, one that had stayed with him throughout the years. During his childhood, Walt would spend countless hours outdoors on his family's expensive property, engaging in conversations with God. On one occasion, God revealed a remarkable image to 12-year-old Walt. In his vision, he saw a child with dark skin and dark eyes, and he heard a voice saying, "This is going to be your daughter, and her name will be Chloe." Years later, as Annie and Walt discussed their aspirations for the future, Annie expressed her strong belief that she was meant to be a mother and had even chosen the name Chloe for her future daughter. Walt had already been given that same name by God in his childhood vision. When he heard Annie reveal her chosen name, he was astonished. The couple realized the extraordinary connection between their dreams and the vision Walt had received years earlier. However, there was a disparity between the physical appearance described in Walt's vision and Annie's fair complexion, blonde hair, and blue eyes. Walt had envisioned Chloe with olive skin and brown eyes. Despite this discrepancy, Annie had always felt a deep connection with Walt and believed that he was the one she was destined to be with. She considered him her home from the very beginning. Annie and Walt's journey to parenthood was not an easy one. They faced years of infertility which put a strain on their marriage and tested their faith. Annie began questioning the goodness of God, feeling devastated and unsure of their path. The couple fervently prayed, even asking God to take away their desire for children if it wasn't part of His plan. However, their longing to be parents only grew stronger. They couldn't ignore the profound love they felt for their future child, especially after the vision and the remarkable connection they shared. Initially, Walt had been hesitant about adoption, dismissing it as a mere band-aid solution to their struggles. But through God's continuous work in his heart, Walt underwent a transformation. He went from staunchly opposing adoption to embracing the idea of receiving the child God had intended for them. With Walt's change of heart, Annie eagerly began the adoption process. Finally, the long-awaited news arrived in their inbox. "It's a girl." The adoption agency informed Annie and Walt that a woman named Allison had chosen them to be the parents of her unborn child. Excitement and anticipation filled their hearts as they eagerly awaited their daughter's arrival. As part of the adoption process, the birth mother requested to meet the adoptive parents, and Annie and Walt traveled to Wichita, Kansas to meet Allison. When the door opened and Walt laid eyes on Allison, he was immediately struck by a sense of familiarity. Her face bore a striking resemblance to the little girl from his childhood vision. The topic of the baby's name arose. Annie and Walt had set aside the name Chloe, dismissing it as a coincidence. However, when Allison was asked if she had considered a name for the baby, she revealed, "Ever since I got pregnant, even before I knew it was a girl, I've been calling this baby Chloe." Annie and Walt understood that God had faithfully kept the promise he made to Walt all those years ago. Any doubts Walt had about having a Band-Aid baby vanished in an instant. He instantly felt the weight of fatherhood even before their daughter was born. Their daughter was meant to be named Chloe, and they were chosen to be her parents. Annie and Walt joyfully embraced their roles as Chloe's parents, knowing that God had been orchestrating their journey all along. The presence of God enveloped them, and they felt His love and reassurance. Annie and Walt's story touched the lives of many, increasing faith, hope, and trust of those who heard it. They learned to lean on God's promises even when everything seemed to be falling apart. Indeed, God's incredible nature became evident to Annie, who realized that the same God who flung the stars into space loved her deeply. She found security in His love and recognized it as the greatest gift. Walt echoed this sentiment, acknowledging that God's hand was not random or left to chance. He witnessed the miracles that unfolded in their lives and marveled at the intricate details that God had orchestrated. As their story spread, others found hope and a strengthened sense of faith. Walt, Annie, and Chloe's story served as a testament to the goodness of God and the incredible ways in which He writes our stories even when we are unaware of His plans.